Magandang araw! Sama-sama tayong matuto sa Teacher Sal Learning Resource Channel.
Revised K-12 Curriculum, Science 3, Quarter 3, Week 1. Factors affecting the movement of an object. Using reference points. For Day 1, factors affecting the movement of an object. Based on our previous lesson, what are the different ways to move objects? By pulling, by pushing, by carrying, by lifting, by blowing. Aside from people, what other things can make an object move? Wind can blow leaves and paper. Water can carry boats and logs. Pushing or pulling, water, and wind can make objects move. In today's lesson, you will explore factors that affect an object's movement. Use a dictionary to look for the meaning of the following words: squeeze, crumple, fold, size, shape. You will encounter these terms during the discussion. Activity 1. What affects the movement of a falling object? Materials needed: 3 sheets of paper. Duration: 10 minutes. Instructions: get 3 flat sheets of paper. Drop the 3 flat sheets of paper from the same height at the same time. Observe what happens. Then, crumple 1 sheet of paper. Fold the second sheet of paper into any shape you want. One member holds the crumpled paper, another holds the folded paper, and another holds the flat sheet of paper. Drop the 3 sheets of paper from the same height. Do this 3 times. When you drop the 3 flat sheets of paper at the same height, did they reach the floor at the same time? Yes, they reached the floor at the same time. What changes happen to the piece of paper when it was crumpled? It becomes smaller, it changes its shape. What changes happen to the piece of paper when it was folded? It becomes smaller. When you drop the crumpled, folded, and flat sheets of paper at the same time, did they reach the floor at the same time? If not, which one reached the floor first? The crumpled paper fell first, followed by the folded paper and the flat paper. No, they didn't fall at the same time. In this activity, what affects the movement of the falling pieces of paper? The size and shape of the paper affect its movement. Think pair share. Why is it easier to ride your bike when the tires are round instead of the tires being flat or bumpy? Share your ideas. The round shape helps the bike move easily. Round-shaped objects have no corners, so they roll smoothly. If the wheels were flat or bumpy, the bike wouldn't move smoothly. It might stop, shake, or even tip over. What affects the movement of a falling object? The size and shape of a falling object affect its movement. True or false? Read each sentence carefully. Write true if the sentence is correct. Write false if the sentence is incorrect. When you crumple a piece of paper, its size and shape change. When you fold a piece of paper, its size and shape do not change. The size and shape of a falling object affect its movement. Here are the correct answers. For day 2, when you push a toy car, what can make it move faster or slower? Pushing harder the surface texture. Each of these things, how hard you push and the surface texture, is a factor that affects how the car moves. Pushing harder causes the toy car to move faster. A factor is something that causes an event to happen. In the activity yesterday, what were the two things that affected how the paper fell? The shape and size of the paper affect how it falls. The shape and size of the paper are factors that affect how it falls. In your previous lesson, you learned that the size and shape of an object affect its movement. Today, you will explore another factor. You will determine how the surface texture of an object affects its movement. Get a piece of flat paper or aluminum foil. Fill it with your hands and describe how it feels. Surface texture, how something feels when you touch it. It can be smooth, rough, soft, or hard. For example, a mirror has a smooth surface, but a stone has a rough surface texture. Rough, something that feels bumpy, scratchy, or uneven when you touch it. For example, sandpaper or a rock might feel rough. Smooth, something that feels flat, soft, or even when you touch it. For example, glass or a table surface might feel smooth. Let's have activity 2. What affects the movement of the ball rolling down a ramp? Materials needed: 3 balls at the same size and weight. Example, ping pong ball, aluminum foil, tissue, paper, any other material with different surface textures, enclosed ramp, plastic ruler. Duration 10 minutes. Get 3 balls of the same size and weight. Make the 3 balls roll down the ramp at the same time. Observe what happens. Then, leave 1 ball unwrapped. Wrap another with crumpled foil, and the third with tissue paper. Make the 3 balls roll down a ramp again at the same time. Do this 3 times. When you release the 3 unwrapped balls at the ramp, did they reach the edge at the same time? They reach the edge almost at the same time. The 3 balls may not reach the edge at the same time because they sometimes bump each other or bump the side of the ramp. What changes happened to the surface of the ball when it was covered with crumpled foil? It becomes rough or bumpy. What happened to the surface of the ball when it was covered with tissue paper? It becomes a lil. What happened to the surface of the ball when it was covered with tissue paper? It becomes a little rough or bumpy. Did the 3 balls reach the edge of the ramp at the same time? No, the balls didn't reach the edge of the ramp at the same time. What factors affect the movement of the ball? The surface texture of the object affects its movement. Now that we know how an object's surface texture affects its movement, let's talk about how the surface it moves on can also affect its movement. What can you say about the movement of the people or objects on an ice rink? The smooth surface of the ice rink allows objects to glide and move easily. Objects with smooth surfaces allow them to move easily. Where have you seen these strips before? In highways. Why are there rumble strips on highways? What are they for? Rumble strips are special rough patches on highways designed to help keep drivers safe. They are usually placed along the edges of the road or in the middle and have grooves or raised bumps that create a loud noise and vibration when a car drives over them. Their main purpose is to alert drivers to stay focused or steer back onto the road. Though rumble strips are not designed to slow down a car, the rough texture causes the car to shake and make a loud noise. This often makes drivers instinctively slow down to regain control or assess their position on the road. Alternative activity. Prepare two identical marbles, a sheet of bond paper, and a sheet of sandpaper. Predict. What differences do you notice between the two surfaces? What do you think will happen when we roll one marble on a sheet of bond paper and one marble on a sandpaper? Will they roll at the same speed, or will one roll faster than the other? Observe. Observe carefully what will happen. Demonstrate. Place the bond paper and sandpaper side by side on a flat surface. Then, place a marble on each surface. Lastly, flick both marbles at the same time. What did you notice about the movement of the marbles? The marble on the bond paper moves faster than the one on the sandpaper. The texture of the surface affects the movement of the marble. When an object is on a smooth surface, the surface allows the object to move faster, while a rougher surface slows it down. Aside from the size and shape of an object, what other factor affects the movement of an object based on today's activity? The surface texture of the object affects its movement. An object moves more easily or faster on a smooth surface than on a rough surface. Use the clues to fill the crossword puzzle below. The surface texture of an object affects how blank an object rolls or slides down. If the surface of an object is blank, it will slide easily. If the surface of an object is blank surface, like sandpaper, it slides slower than an object with a smooth surface. Here are the correct answers: fast, slow, smooth, rough. For day 3. Can you push this book to the other side of the table? Can you push this table a little bit farther? Which one was easier to push, the table or the book? Why do you think so? The book was easier to push because it's lighter. The table was harder to push because it's heavier. A heavy object needs a strong force to make it move, while lighter objects don't need as much force to move. In today's lesson, you will explore another factor affecting an object's movement: Heaviness means how much something weighs. Let's have activity 3. What affects the movement of an object rolling down a ramp? Materials needed: 2 small plastic bottles, water, enough to fill up to 2 small plastic bottles, ramp, and ruler. Optional. Duration 10 minutes. Instructions: fill the 2 small plastic bottles with water until they are halfway full. Make sure both bottles have the same amount of water in them. Place the 2 half-filled bottles at the top of the ramp. You may use a ruler to keep the 2 bottles from rolling. Release the ruler to let the 2 bottles roll down the ramp at the same time. Observe the movement of the 2 bottles. Record your observations. Now, add more water to one of the bottles until it is completely full. Make sure the other bottle remains half-filled. Place the half-filled and completely filled plastic bottles at the top of the ramp. You may use a ruler to keep the 2 bottles from rolling. Release the ruler to let the 2 bottles roll down the ramp at the same time. Observe your movement of the 2 bottles. Record your observations. What did you notice when the 2 half-filled plastic bottles were rolled at the same time? Both bottles reached the bottom first at the same time. When you added more water in the other bottle, what changed? The other bottle became heavier. What did you notice about the movement of the half-filled bottle and the completely filled bottle as they rolled down the ramp? The completely filled plastic bottles move faster or reaches the bottom first. Which bottle reached the bottom of the ramp first? The completely filled plastic bottle. Why do you think one bottle reached the bottom first? The completely filled plastic bottle hit the bottom first and was faster because it is heavier than the half-filled water bottle. Which of the 2 is heavier? The loaded grocery cart is heavier. Which of the 2 is harder to push? The loaded grocery cart is harder to push than the empty grocery cart. At the start of your shopping trip, the grocery cart is easy to push because it's empty. As you fill the cart with groceries, it gets harder and harder to push. That's because the movement of an object depends on the heaviness of the object. The heavier the object, the harder or slower it moves. Alternatively, use the same ramp set up as the previous ramp activity. Release the half-filled plastic bottle from the top of the ramp. Observe how far the bottle travels after leaving the ramp. Mark the spot where it stops. Repeat steps 2 and 3 using a completely filled plastic bottle. Which bottle rolled the farthest? The completely filled bottle rolled the farthest. Why do you think that bottle rolled the farthest? The bottle rolled the farthest because it was heavier. Of the 2 activities, what factor affects the movement of the water bottles as they roll down the ramp? The factor that affects the movement of the water bottles is their heaviness. How did it affect the movement of the bottles? The heavier bottle moved faster and farther. So far, you have learned that size, shape, and surface texture affect the movement of an object. Aside from this, what other factor affects the movement of an object based on today's activity. The heaviness of the object affects its movement. Heavy objects are harder to stop than light objects. Fill in the blanks. Choose from the words below. Heavy, light, faster. Blank objects are harder to stop than blank objects. A heavy ball rolls blank than a light ball when you push them the same way. Here is the correct answer. Heavy objects are harder to stop than light objects. A heavy ball rolls faster than a light ball when you push them the same way. For day 4, using reference points. Can you tell me where your bag is in the classroom? Share your answers using phrases like on the desk, under the chair, or next to the door. In today's lesson, you will learn how to describe the location of an object or person with respect to another object or person. On, in, above, below, in front of. Behind, beside, between, to the right, to the left. Put your hands above your head. Stand behind your chair. Let's have activity 4, describing the location of objects. Materials needed: pencil. Duration 10 minutes. Ask your teacher for the object your group needs to describe its location. Individually, describe the location of the object so that anyone else in the classroom can easily find it. You have 2 minutes to do this. After 2 minutes, discuss your answers with the group. Compare any similarities or differences in how you described the location of the object. Complete the following table. In the first column, object, sample object, eraser. Second column, where is the object located? The eraser is on top of the teacher's table. Did everyone in the group have the same description? If not, how were they similar or different? No, not everyone had the same description. Some described the location in more detail, while others used simpler descriptions. However, all descriptions mentioned nearby objects, areas, or people. How did you describe the location of the object? We describe it using other objects or other people in the classroom. We also described it using prepositions of place. What object helped you notice the toy car moved? The pencil case, that's the reference point. If the reference point moves, will others still locate the given items using your description? Why? No, because the location of the reference point has already changed, so the description of the location of the object should be changed. An object that is not moving or stationary is a good reference point. What do we need to describe an object's position? We use stationary reference points to describe locations. Reference points help us consistently describe where things are in relation to each other. Explain the directions. Read the clues about the object's location in the box below. Then draw the objects in the living room. The object's location: A. The book is on the sofa. B. The clock is to the left of the picture frames. C. The cat is under the lamp.